control and the elected leader of the country has been detained. There is little that the IMF can do to withdraw the funds because the funds were dispersed as a part of rapid COVID-19 financing programs. The US, which is one of the dominant shareholders in the International Monetary Fund, has threatened sanctions against the generals. It has also provided Myanmar with $700 million in emergency COVID-19 funding over the last 7 months. The IMF's counterpart in Myanmar is the Central Bank of Myanmar. Now, the IMF can only hope that it can maintain its independence from the country's finance ministry.
From shock to anger, the military coup in Myanmar has sparked public displays of outrage, with people banging pots and pans overnight in its biggest city, Yangon. 2 days after the takeover that ousted Aung San Suu Kyi and her government, calls for civil disobedience, mostly online, are growing. Doctors and nurses in at least 30 towns have gone on strike to oppose the coup, an act of defiance with potentially dangerous consequences in a country with one of South Asia's highest coronavirus death tolls. But there's still reluctance to protest openly. Some analysts say what happens over the next week could define the country's political future for years to come.
Right now, I don't know if people are planning something big, but my guess is that if we go from the past, either this happens in the next 4 or 5 days, or it'll just cool down.
Military vehicles now line the streets of major cities. In a country still adapting after years of military rule where dissidents were silenced and opponents arrested, protests carry high risks. On Wednesday morning, the government-run newspaper published a warning, urging people to not oppose the coup.
At the moment, people are buying the newspapers to know the latest, but I don't think they'll keep buying it later on, when photographs of military leaders begin to appear on the cover. Some say it's disgusting to see.
Myanmar's elected leader and head of the National League for Democracy, Aung San Suu Kyi, won a landslide victory in elections in November. Following a large loss of parties favored by the military, it declared the election fraudulent. Now, the head of the army is running the country. Amid mounting international criticism, people are now wondering whether their country's brief experience of democracy has perhaps come to an end. Katia Lopez-Odoyan, Al Jazeera.
Like, share, subscribe, and get notification.